Hello, lovely people, and welcome to my channel. I'm Stephanie, and this is Evolved Chit. It's my little corner of the world where I like to talk about spirituality, metaphysical stuff, universal laws, and psychology. So I'm really excited about today's video. I was speaking with a client recently, and this topic came up, and I thought, well, maybe I should share this on YouTube as well. So today I'm going to talk about Leora. And if you know, you know. And if you don't know who Leora is, Leora was a Twin Flames teacher and spiritual advisor. She was a vocalist, a sound alchemist, a divine feminine, and a direct channel for the Archangels and Ascended Masters. And it is said that Leora's teachings are the foundation of the content and coaching of a lot of Twin Flames channels and coaches and teachers out here on YouTube and social media. So I'd like to share with you what I know about Leora. I never met her, never spoke with her, but I did learn a lot about her through the research I did when I was activated on my Twin Flames journey. So I'd love to share with you what I know about her, her teachings, and also direct you to some resources with her content that I think you'll find really inspiring and beautiful. But first, before I jump into today's video, if you're new here, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. It's lovely to have you. And you know the drill. Hit the thumbs up button to like the video. Also, subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to get notifications. And also, if you have comments, I'd love to hear from you. If you have something on your mind, or you're struggling on your Twin Flames journey or spiritual path, or if you have recommendations for future videos or articles out of my blog, I'd love to hear from you. And if I can provide a meaningful response, I am happy to do so. Okay, so let's talk about the legendary Leora. So, I look at how Twin Flames has evolved so much since I happened upon all of this in 2017. And I've talked with people who have related to a Twin Flames journey. They feel like they've been on it for like 20 years, if not longer. So I can't even imagine. But before, Twin Flames was always up in your feed, and the pick a card readings and the messages from the divine masculine, there was Leora. And one night when my core wound was oozing all over the place, I was like, I have to find Leora's content. And at the time in 2017, a lot of her content was not on the internet, at least that I couldn't find. So I was doing Google searches for her name or Twin Flames, things like that. Every now and then I would, like, a blog post would come up, but it wasn't anything from her site. Sometimes the links to her former website would come up, but you really couldn't access or see anything. And then, of course, there was information that you would occasionally get in a YouTube video from one of her students who had gone on to create their own coaching channel and everything. But never really anything that felt like it was of substance or was connected back to her direct teachings. So one night, it's 1 a.m., I'll never forget it. I can still see myself sitting in my living room, and I'm like, I have to find this woman's information. I want to know what she has to say about this topic. So I had just ended a phone call with somebody I met in a Twin Flames chat group, and was just confirming a couple things with her. I was like, I'm going to find Leora's old website. And I remembered that night the Internet Wayback Machine. And if you're not familiar with that, the Internet Wayback Machine a facet of it lets you go and enter a URL. And you can also select like a timestamp. So that's what I did. I remembered this tool, and I'd used it quite a bit in my professional life. And I was like, well, wait, let me try this. So sure enough, bam, there it was. And so I entered another timestamp, like, okay, well, if her website was live around this time, maybe it was live around this time. So I kept kind of going back, and I think I went back, I want to say maybe 4 years. I think I generated her website from 2012 to 2016. And I was just floored by what I was reading, because I'm thinking in my mind, like, the getting into union recipe is something really complex and spiritual, or maybe I wasn't expecting her writing to be so, like, beautiful and flowery and esoteric. So I read everything that I could find from the eras that I could locate her website, and I'll have a information in the description of this video on how you can access her content too. So I read her content, and it, again, amazing, beautiful. I understand all the concepts of it, but I wasn't connecting it to this whole inner narrative thing yet. I didn't realize like what I was learning just yet. It wasn't clicking like it clicks now. Now I just like, oh yeah, now I see it. But she had a course called the Twin Flame Sacred Keys. And I could see that advertised and promoted on her website, but I could not access it because the shopping cart functionality was gone. So after having tried and searched and this and that, I could not locate it. So again, this was like 2017, maybe 2018. And by that time I had, moved on, and I was beyond about being in a relationship. At this time, it was the person I call my fake twin flame. It was beyond that. I was not, it was more about, is this really a thing? Is the twin flames theory really a thing? Are we energetic beings? Are we really this? And if you've listened to my other content or read my bio on my website, I've been immersed in the metaphysical my whole life, like as early back as I can remember, and then some, because my family is into all of this. So I've always been exposed to this kind of lifestyle, if you will. And I'm a Reiki master. I have all these things that I've been doing over the years, but I didn't realize how culpable my inner narrative is. That is energy, emotion. And when later on I would be doing like these social science experiments with my fake twin flame, and every now and then they would work, but I was still very triggered by all of this. And so I decided, I was like, screw it. I got to just put this aside and go live my best life. And if that's a twin flame, that's a twin flame. But I was still interested in this topic and researching it. So I would go back and read Leora's content from time to time. I started developing other tools and things that I was doing in better understanding mindfulness, meditation, how our inner narrative is our vibration, our frequency, doing my own little social science experiments, finding other coaches and teachers and seeing what they have to say about it. And I happened upon Abraham Hicks again after years of not having read their content or listened to their content. I happened upon them again. And it all started to come into place, all these little puzzle pieces. I'm still looking at it from like, the magical side of life, the metaphysical side of life, but it still wasn't working. And I'm a pretty logical person, as much as I am like a, metaphysical person. I was like, it's just not working. I got to keep finding a tool or a mechanism or a way to help me understand this. So I happened upon the personal development school around that time and attachment style theory. And I really dug into that. I've taken a number of psychology courses in college, but never really delved into attachment style theory. And when I jumped into that and was reading the content on the site and taking some of the quizzes that they had, it was really showing me a lot of things, and I could start to connect dots. Now, the reason why I'm sharing this is because shortly after I happened upon all of that content and I was integrating it into my life and helping me understand my narrative, it was around the time I happened upon the Twin Flame Sacred Keys, Leora's teachings. So it would appear that someone had them and posted them on Amazon Kindle for purchase. So I bought it and read it, and I was like, this sounds a lot like everything I read on her website. So that leads me to believe that it is accurate, that it was Leora's. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and validate or certify that like I'm some sort of, certification professional or something like that. But it's, to me, they're very consistent. The tone, the language, the message, and everything. So I'm reading her ebook, and I read it, and I, read right through it because I just had to. And then I stepped away from it and I was like, this is really interesting. And Leora tells an amazing story about the origin and history of twin flames. And it's really beautiful and lovely. And we've heard these things from maybe some other coaches or teachers like Dolores Cannon, and many others out there, Elizabeth Clare Prophet, and so on. There's a lot of books about twin flames, but there's something about Leora's content that really resonates for me because it is both beautiful and metaphysical and magical and but it is also incredibly practical. So I went back and read the Twin Flame Sacred Keys again. And at the time when all of the Twin Flame stuff was going on, like, we want something to be really magical. We want something to be that, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what has been missing in my life. This has been this has been that. And often those of us who are on a Twin Flames journey, we think it's the other person, the other physical person, that is the magic. We think it's them. We don't think it's necessarily believe that it's us. And this is where that energetic dance happens, because our twin flame is mirroring at us all the wonderful things that we are, or sometimes those lower vibrational things that we need to address. And we're thinking it's them when it's really us that is being mirrored at us. And when we're triggered by this, whatever this dynamic brings up in us, we have an opportunity to alchemize the lower vibrational energy. And if we go on the whole twin flames theory that, we are an energetic match with our twin flame, with this person, and it is what we desire, then as we continue to get into alignment with ourselves, it is said that, you magnetize them in, because it becomes a vibrational match. So this, for a lot of people, and myself included, it was about the romance. It was about getting this connection. And when we look at what Leora is teaching us that this is a reunion through self-mastery. And her sacred keys are a guide to help you better understand your shadowy stuff, your lower vibrational stuff, how to heal it, how to balance that inner polarity, and collapse the duality that polarity is creating. Because we are taught and raised to judge, to perceive, to project, and so on. And that creates a duality in our thinking, in our perception, in our judgments, which influences our thoughts, our emotions, our actions. And our thoughts and emotions are our inner world. And even though we may not act on them or say them, they are still an energy in motion. And that energy is our vibration. It is our frequency. So the fastest way for you to determine if someone is your twin flame, in addition to all the fun little things I suggest to you and my other content, is to balance your energy. It is, that journey begins, as Leora called it, the sacred self reunion. So it's why it can be so painful. We are literally grieving the loss of our old selves, the old ways that no longer serve us. And now that we're so tapped into this energy and this awareness, we can better and faster and more efficiently identify what those feelings are rooted in. And while you may be having emotions or feelings about a situation now, but a lot of them are rooted in your perceptions and judgments and your trauma. Which is why for someone like me, it was so incredibly helpful to get tapped into the attachment style stuff, because I needed something logical and intellectual to help me move through the emotional. So everyone is going to be different. I only share with you what has helped me, and it is also what has helped a lot of people that I have coached to balance their energy and magnetize in more of what they are desiring in their life. And it all begins with self-awareness. And we can do that by practicing self-inquiry. And you hear that a lot in the Twin Flames community, using a mirror exercise, which is just reflection. And our twin flame, they also are called our mirror self. If they really are that, then what is it that your experience is mirroring at you? For better or for worse? And now it's up to you to determine how you want to move forward now that you are aware of this, and how you want to resolve that energy. It's why I recommend all the things that I do, because it's what helped me. Now, everyone's going to be different. But I know that there was one point where I was like, I want this divine masculine oracle reading to be about me. I want it to be right. I want it to be accurate. I want it to be this. When in all reality, general oracle readings are so much fun to give as a reader. I love giving them because there's no connection to it. You're just like, oh, what am I feeling? A lot of it's rooted in our own stuff. But it really is about helping you see that, one, you are your own best intuitive, and that it is so important to stay focused on your path, on your the way you need to navigate this. This is all about you, your ascension path. So, we read and hear about these things like, oh, the chosen ones or this or that. And I don't know if I really believe that there's like a special group of chosen ones. I think if anyone's here, you're a chosen one. There's a contribution to the collective consciousness. So, but I think there are some people who are a little more self-aware than others. And now that you are gaining this greater self-awareness, it is a perfect opportunity for you to be like one of the way showers. And the way that we can do that is by better understanding ourselves, how we relate to ourselves, how we relate to others, how we're relating to every situation in our life. It's why it's recommended by a lot of spiritual teachers to practice non-attachment. Eckhart Tolle and a lot of other teachers like him, they recommend non-attachment. So I've gone through so many of those different teachings, especially, before I was even on a twin flames journey. I happened upon them before, but they hit differently after this experience. And I could see, while I had a lot of tools and knowledge, I needed to bring them all in and together. And this experience, my twin flame dynamic that I have with the fake twin flame and the relationship I have with my person who I believe is my real twin flame, has been just completely different now that I have this awareness. And the relationship with my fake twin flame, like, I can remember being so hugely triggered by him. And it, it left me on edge. And so much of it was because I was putting so much stock into what I was reading, that this is what this is. And I was over analyzing it and overthinking it. And then it got to the point where I was like, well, I need to manage my energy to see if this is really a thing. And so, years had gone by, and this is a person that I live pretty close to, so I should see them on a regular basis, but I barely see him. And I have completely balanced that energy out. But every now and then I do a little energy experiment. And I did this. I do it probably every few months just to see. And I do it with absolute non-attachment. And I say an intention that I'm going to see him in some way. And sure enough, every time it happens. It's really crazy. So I have a feeling I'm going to see him today. I'll say something like that. I have a feeling I'm going to see him today. And bam, I'll see him that day. And it's really weird. And there are some days I never leave my house because I'm working all day from home. And I may not get outside until night or later. So, or not at all. But I'll still see him. It's really strange. And then with my real twin flame, it is like the complete opposite. Well, he did leave me feeling a little edgy sometimes. It was nothing like the fake twin flame. So when my twin flame and I were in those periods of separation, it was really more about reflection, and I could see it for what the situation was. And it was really up to me to choose, like, how are you going to respond to this? Because you can be a petulant child about it, or you can really step into your power, which is why I yell it at the end of every video. So this is your opportunity to continue to advance on your spiritual path. And this was all triggered by this. If you relate to a twin flames journey, it was all triggered by that. So it's a real gift, even though I know sometimes it can feel like a real curse. So getting back to Leora, there are a couple of other things I want to share with you. So I wanted to share more of my experience in a succinct way so you could see how I can relate to utilizing these tools and techniques to help me balance out my energy. So I use attachment style theory. I can definitely say that these days I lean more towards a secure attachment than ever. I practice self-inquiry. I do other things like sound healing, movement, things like that to integrate like lower vibrational stuff. When I'm feeling stressed out, I'm always looking for a little technique. So sometimes I even just allow myself to like fake cry, because sometimes you just need to like be a baby about it. It's self-soothing. So I'll just like kind of do a fake cry, and it's like, okay, now I feel better. I got that out of my system, or something like that. So you have to find what works for you. And it all begins with your self-concept. So I do have a free ebook on my website, and it's the Mindset Reset. Go to the evolvedchit.com, go to the Get Started page, and you'll see the ebook there. You can download it for free. And simple exercises and techniques that you can use to help you get better connected to who you are and how you can work on elevating your vibration. So it's what a lot of the coaches are sharing with you. I've just put it together in a really succinct guide in a way that has helped me, and it's what I do to help my clients and people I coach. So check that out. And also, there are a lot of articles on my website. I have an article about Leora. I have an article about core wound and how you can heal it and soothe it. There's also a step-by-step guide on how to practice self-inquiry. You can learn more about your attachment style and the twin flames journey with an article on my website. And also how to get into energetic alignment and how you do that, how you tap into it. And if you still want to learn more about yourself and your twin flame and this experience that you're on, I also have an article called Decoding Twin Flames. And I share with you what I have used and use with my clients to how you can leverage astrology and numerology to get you greater clarity on your mission, your path, and your purpose here in this lifetime. But also it can help you better understand your twin flame dynamic too. So again, I want to summarize, Leora's teachings were are just absolutely magical. They're incredibly just pure and simple and very practical. And basically comes down to remembering that your twin flame experience or whatever brought you here, your core wound was activated. It is showing you where you have some emotional scars and trauma. And how that is showing up in your life and creating some sort of lower vibrational state or shadowy state. And Leora is reminding us and helping us see how we are an energetic polarity. And through the reintegration of our shadow, by doing the shadow work, by doing the self-inquiry, by practicing, self-mastery, we can collapse that duality within us. And that is what keeps us from having more of the desired experiences that we want to have in our life, the connections that we desire to have, the things that feel in alignment for us, because we are better connected to who we are at our core, and that is a soul. We are an energetic being. If you would have said to me about 8 years ago, which is when I was probably within the first few months of being on my twin flames journey, that I would be recording this video talking about Leora, well, I would have looked at you like you had 6 heads, because this was just never in my bingo card. But I am so grateful for this experience, and I am incredibly grateful for this amazing, beautiful woman who has shared with us this incredible insight, and so grateful that I was able to find this information and that I can share it with you too, because it shouldn't be kept a secret. It shouldn't be hidden away. It needs to be shared because it is a history. And I also would like to share with you too, just as a little bonus, Leora was also a vocalist, I understand, a sound alchemist. And when I was looking for more information about her, I happened upon a release that she had, a musical release that she had out on Spotify. So it is incredibly beautiful sound healing music, and some of the videos that she has out on YouTube, it sounds like some of that audio is used on her YouTube videos as well. So when I found her release, her music out on Spotify, I went back and listened to a couple of her videos, and I was like, yeah, that sounds very similar. So she was a musician, and how amazing is that? So what an incredible person. I wish I had the opportunity that I could have met her. But I just want to say how grateful I am for her content and her beautiful message and the messages that she channeled from the Archangels and the Ascended Masters. And this feels like a good place to end this video, but I just want to remind you that you can check out these resources in the description and learn more about Leora for yourself and how you can apply these tools and techniques that she advocated for in her teachings to help you balance out your inner world and magnetize more of what you want to experience into your life, because that is what you came here to do. You, my dear, are the magic. And your twin flame And this twin flame dynamic or this experience you're going through is waking you up. So now that you know this, I'm handing you the tools that you can use to help you elevate your vibration. And that is your frequency. And watch what happens when you do that. It's pretty incredible. So this is just a reminder that you are loved, you are amazing, you are awesome, you are necessary, and you are really freaking needed right now. So step into your power. And until next time, I'm sending you lots of love and good vibes for your journey.